What is going on, y'all? Love and Hip Hop Atlanta season 4 is back. Yes, we are back in the building, and I am all the way here for this. This is the season. Fuck it, this is the fucking show that we all been waiting for because it's gonna give us the ratchetness that we need. Even when this shit be boring and be repeating itself, we still get life from it. So it is what it is. So it starts off with Stevie J and Mimi. Now, Mimi has got to be one of the dumbest bitches on this show. And Mimi loves being disrespected. Mimi, we can't just say that it's Stevie J that keep pulling her in and pulling her in. Mimi do that shit on her own. Case in point, you done went through that bullshit with Nico. Okay? And you got out the situation with Stevie J, went to Nico, and now you're going right back to fucking Stevie J. You're trying to open up this little management, firm that you got, MF Management or whatever the fuck you want to call it. That's fine. We don't know what happened to the cleaning service. Hey, we're not gonna go there. But instead of, you could have partnered up with anybody in fucking Atlanta. Anybody. But who you decide to partner up with? Fucking Stevie J. Okay? And then this motherfucker is sitting there talking about I give you some of my sperm. I'm like, what? And she like, oh, excuse me. You need to talk to your wife about that shit. That crazy bitch. Oh, I got so excited. Choking on my own spit and shit. Excuse me. She was like, you need to talk to your crazy ass bitch of a wife, okay? Because she over it. Over that bullshit that happened in New York at the reunion when, she just went crazy out of her body and all that stuff. Bitch, on that preview, when they was doing the preview of what happened last season, when they was like, do you have a drug problem? Jocelyn was like, do it look like I got a drug problem? Look, let me tell you something. I miss Jocelyn. As much as I hate to say this, but I just miss Jocelyn and her antics. I don't like her like that, but I like her for this show. Okay? I would never go on Twitter and follow her. I would never follow her on Facebook or Instagram or whatever. But I just like her for this show. Like, if she was off this show for good, I don't know if I would really be interested in watching it because she just gives me the right amount of fucking dumbness and hilarity that I need from her. But anyway, they up there looking at this new artist or whatever that she's trying to manage or, get together, whatever, Tiffany Fox. Mind you, I was like, where the fuck Lil' Kim at? Because I thought that was Lil' Kim, Lil' Protege or some shit. We gonna get the backstory on that? I guess. So moving on from that shit, we get Karlie Redd pops up out of nowhere. I said, why is she still on this fucking show? Like, what does she do? I'm just confused. Like, what is her storyline? I just really want to know what her storyline is going to be this season because judging from last season, we can tell who storyline got what. Who going to have a storyline if they come back. But Karlie Redd, you didn't barely have a storyline last season because after the shit with Young Jock, who give a fuck? But technically, really, who gives a fuck? Okay? You always latching on to other people. And here she go latching on to the new bitch, Jessica Dimepiece. Give it up for Jessica Dimepiece, y'all. She a Staplewood King of Diamonds. This is her last dance. She's going off to the music industry to be in the music industry. So let's give it up. Get them dollars out. Get that money out. I said, do they really announce shit like that at the strip club? I gotta go down to King of Diamonds. Here you go, Cardi. So I get this call that my girl Jessica Dimepiece is gonna be doing her last dance at King of Diamonds. Like, her and Jocelyn used to run that place, and I'm just sitting here like, what? We can't let her just go out. We gotta let her go out with a bang. So let me go get my money. We go make that bitch ring up in there. Who gave you that money, Cardi? I really want to know. Okay, it wasn't but $100 in singles. I'm just saying, but Jessica Dimepiece. She was giving me in the locker room while she was talking to Dawn. Oh my God. Dawn popped her ass up out of fucking nowhere. Okay? And I said, here we go. She like, so, Jessica Dimepiece trying to be on a level that Jocelyn is. And because Jocelyn see this as a threat, she don't want to talk to her and all this stuff. Yada, yada, yada. Here goes Jessica. I haven't spoken to Jocelyn, and I don't know who Jocelyn Hernandez is. I know Chanelica Benacourt. That's how long we've been riding together. And I said, oh, give it all out, because I remember that name too. And they was like, you haven't spoken to Jocelyn? No, I don't know what's going on. I haven't spoken to her since New York, and it is what it is. Maybe when I get down there, we can talk. I said, girl, So is this the bitch that's supposed to give her Jocelyn a run for her money or some shit? Or are they going to be cool? Or is it going to be some friction? Either way, she was giving me different faces. In the locker room, she was giving me Ronnie from Players Club. I was waiting for her to pull Karlie Redd and say, drunk bitch, like that. Or, hey, I was just confused. And then in the confessional, she was giving me Black China with the little piercing in her cheek and then with the bangs. And I was like, the fact that I know who Black China is now, that's sad. But, it is what it is. So, we shall see. So, Momma Dee, oh my God, I forgot all about her and her bullshit. Momma Dee is on the scene. She got this performance coming up. She getting dressed. Why was they placing a crown on her head? Look, Momma Dee is the 4th season, and you are still talking about palaces and kings and queens. Shit that you would never be and you can never aspire to be. So let's stop. Not even in the hood dream. Okay? Kings and queens and shit like that, they don't have people that fall behind on their debts and their bills and their child support, aka your son. And I do believe that he's behind on his child support. First of all, Erica and Momma Dee still cool. At this moment, Erica come back there. Another thing, I was like, bitch, why is she still on here? But I guess if Scrappy on here, she gonna still be on here. She come back there with some flowers and she was like, girl, hey, how you doing? You looking good. I'm ready for your performance. But let me tell you this. Scrappy, he behind on child support. I don't believe that stuff. That's my son. And it was like, and if it is, he is doing something and he behind on his child support, that's the Bambi and her hooves in him. I said, child, Momma Dee has to go, but then she has to stay because I need this foolishness in my motherfucking life. And then when Momma Dee was like, I put out my single, I Deserve, and it is going off the Rither. I thought it was Richter. I thought it was something else. I said, what type of scale is that? That is some scale that I've never heard of, And after that, they go out there, Bambi and Scrappy sitting at the front row. Scrappy look like he's wearing Bambi on his fur, on his fucking hood. Bambi mixed with squirrel mixed with whichever chipmunk, and I was just a little bit confused as to what the fuck he be having on. It's like when hood niggas try so hard to flash when they get money or whatever, so they just buy up everything and they put it all together and think it look good and it don't mesh well at all. That's what Scrappy does. And it's just like, baby, stop. And he like, so Momma Dee and Erica, they all good with each other. That's cool. But then she up there telling Mama that I'm not paying her child support and all this shit and this all this, and ain't nothing gonna keep me from my child. Ain't nobody gonna tell me what to do. Nigga, if the court say that you are supposed to pay this certain amount, bitch, that's what you supposed to do. Okay? No matter if you keep up with your child and you in your child life, you still supposed to pay that shit on time, okay? That's what it's supposed to do. And then after the performance, Bambi and Momma Dee and Scrappy talking. And Momma Dee gonna tell them that, Erica was like, you back behind the child support, and the way that your music falling off is because of Bambi. Now, correct me in the comments if I'm wrong. Did Erica even say something about Bambi? Or was it Momma Dee that said Bambi? I said, Momma Dee, stop starting stuff. So now he pissed off over that. They saying that Scrappy like, moving on from that bullshit, we get this little sipping paint shit that Mimi want to put together with Arian, Karlie Redd, Rashida, and Erica, I think. And they basically like painted a model and all that stuff, and they had this muscular model come out. First of all, his head was too big. His head was too small for his muscles. That's why I was confused. And Arian was Googling all over. I said, you ain't got no girlfriend no more? I thought you was gay. So are you bisexual? I can't stand these psychedelics, okay? But I mean, ain't nothing wrong with admiring a good body, whether it's male or female. But I'm just saying. Explain. But, Mimi wanted to tell them what's going on. So everybody going down the line of what's going on in their life. And she telling them about how she working with Stevie J. And they was like, bitch, after all this stuff. And then, of course, they bring up Jocelyn and her bullshit. And I'm like, Jocelyn's not even there. She's still on the tip of y'all tongue. Y'all need to stop fucking playing and just bring her onto the scene. Because that's all that we are waiting for. All right? And then, Erica talking about the shit with Scrappy talking about he owe like $50,000 in child support, back child support. I said, damn, okay. And then, Karlie, just to make it sound like she doing something, I gotta go down to Miami, and I had to come up with this girl, my girl Jessica Don. She a rapper, and she trying to sing and all that stuff. I was like, girl, don't nobody give a shit. Then here come Rashida. So we about to celebrate our 15-year anniversary of marriage, and then Courtney got this new girl. I'ma work with her. But if I see some fucked up shit, then I'ma say something. Here go Erin. That's very big of you, cause I wouldn't. I wouldn't either. You know your husband, but hey, it is what it is. Bullshit. So Nico flew out there to New York to talk to his wife Margot. Listen, I don't know how I'm gonna feel about Margot, because at first they made it seem like Margot had something to do with this sex tape shit. But given her side of the story, it's VH1 and it's Love and Hip Hop. You can never tell who's really telling the truth and if this shit is really all the way scripted and what's not. But Margot was basically like, they got an open marriage. They've been together they knew each other for over 10 years, been married for over 7 years. They have an open marriage. He was seeing somebody, she was seeing somebody. And I said, what the fuck is y'all married for? If it's going to be an open marriage, what? What? I don't get it, but okay. Because I'm possessive like that. I'm selfish. If I'm in a relationship, it's just going to be me and that person. I don't need no outsiders, because I fuck a bitch up. You know what I'm saying? It is what it is. But Nico tried to convince her to come back down to ATL with him, so they can work on their marriage. And she like, this motherfucker and stepped out and did this sex tape, and that wasn't cool. And then he finally admitted that it was a business thing and they planned to do it. And she was like, this dude lied to me. He never lied about anything to me, but you lied to me about this. And she was like, I don't know nobody up in ATL. What the fuck you want me to meet? Mimi? And he was like, no, but I want to work on this and I want to work on that. And I was like, Margot, you look like you got some sense about you. But then again, you with Nico and you was in an open relationship. Open marriage, I should say. So I don't know. I can't really trust you too much right about now. You gonna fall for the okie doke and go with him. Legion face. Okay, I'm just over him. And then you get Stevie J from one asshole to the next. Stevie J get invited to this showcase for Tiffany Fox by Mimi. So Mimi brings Rashida and Karlie Redd them with her. Stevie J is already there. He up there drunk as fuck, and Tiffany Fox come out, and before he can even get into the showcase, he was there like 45 minutes early. So he was pissed off about that. He trying to see what it is about this girl, but he's drunk. He's talking all loud. Hey, Mimi, I can see you from up here. Don't be down there talking shit with them. What you gonna do? Let's give it up for Mimi. We gonna give it up for Tiffany. Let's go. I was like, nigga fall, because he had his leg over the banister. I said, somebody just push him. Just push him. And then he left. I said, what a fucking embarrassment. Are you serious? That's how you conduct business? I don't care if somebody is late or not. You don't do no shit like that. But that's fucking Stevie J. So we get fucking Kurt. Kurt talking about I got this new office building downtown or whatever. Office building, office. This office is not an office. It's a fucking apartment with 2 bedrooms, okay? And then he got this new artist, Ashley Nicole. I'm Ashley Nicole, and I am here, and I just can't wait. Kurt signed me to a 5-album deal, and I'm just like, oh shit, yes, I finally arrived. I haven't met Rashida yet, but I'm looking forward to meeting the whole team. Kurt got the girl coming up in the motherfucking office, and it was like, I got this office, where I can do things that I want to do and away from the kids when I need to be, and I can actually work. Rashida been asking me for a storefront for boss lady shit, and I'm like, I can't do it right now, and because the money kind of tied up, and I don't know how to tell her that. And I'm sitting here like, you don't know how to tell her that the money tied up. Basically, you don't have no money, but you signed this girl to a 5-album deal, which she dumb as fuck, because look at where Rashida career at. In this day and age, ain't nobody finna be checking for Miss Ashley Nicole off no D-Lo records or whatever the fuck it is that he doing. I hope she ain't trying to go platinum, okay? Then you telling her, she was like, oh my God, it's a 2-bedroom. Look at this. Kurt, this is a bedroom. You sleep on this bed. Mind you, when she get on the bed, it's a picture of Kurt and Rashida, on the floor. It's not hanging up. It's on the floor. He was like, I mean, I've been on my best behavior ever since the shit that went down last year. And, you know, I even got a picture of me and my wife. And I'm sitting here like, but it's on the flow. And then she was like, how much is this? He was like, you know, it's a little something, $3,500 a month. I said $3,500 a month for a fucking apartment that you claim is your office and you can't get your woman a fucking storefront for her legit business. Bitch, that's why the money tied up. So you out here fucking your hoes up in this apartment and you can't tell me you're not. And she all on him and shit like that. And was like, yeah, we gonna meet the team and all this shit. And I'm just like, Kurt, stop. You rusty turnail looking motherfucker. Kurt was in that confessional and he looked like he bathed and he moisturized his skin and used chicken grease, okay? I just didn't understand why he was just looking so greasy and why he was just looking so ashy at the same time. I was just confused. It was like light and dust was popping off of him at the same time. And I was just confused by the whole thing. Kurt, you on some bullshit. Then we get Mimi, dumb ass. Mimi, fucking Mimi. You can say how dumb Jocelyn is or whatever the fuck. Jocelyn know what she getting her ass into. Your dumb ass be sitting here talking about how Jocelyn was high on this. Jocelyn was high on that. But bitch, let's get into how fucking high your ass was, because you had to been high off of some bullshit, because we all been saying it and we all been kind of seeing the signs, bitch. Okay, you and Jocelyn was exhibiting the same fucking crackhead tendencies last season, and you had to be fucking around with Nico, and then your dumb ass gonna sign 25% of your dealings and business away to this motherfucking man. You trying to get your little photo shoot on. Nico pops up and he like, you trying to do a book? Remember, we got a 3-book deal that I get 25% of, and you can't do nothing without my approval too. And she like, nigga, you ain't doing shit. I ain't sent you shit. Go back to your motherfucking wife. Oh, you got a barbershop writer and all that stuff. Who gives a fuck? I'm like, well, Mimi, as much as I want to go in on Nico, if y'all signed the paper, then you owe him 25%. And here she go. You know, I wasn't in my right state of mind when I signed this shit off. So basically what you're kind of admitting is that somebody was under the influence of something, because that's how I interpreted that, you know. And I said, here come Don. Don don't give a fuck about all their problems. Don is like, okay, y'all can chill out, you know, just come to agreement to way we can make this money, because we all want to make some money, right? So I said, Don ain't shit. Don is not shit. She went from Jocelyn to Mimi and now to this Jessica. Girl, get your money, bitch. I guess. Get your money. So Rashid up there trying to talk to Kirk about getting the fucking storefront. Let me get 50,000. Let me get 100. Girl, bye. I don't care. Kirk, he's playing with y'all money. Funny business. You should be doing that shit yourself. Stop getting... Kurt is like fucking Peter from Real Housewives of Atlanta. He is just using up your money and you don't even fucking know about it. Moving on. Stevie J goes over to Mimi's house. Mimi is pissed off at Stevie in the way that he was acting. And it was like, what's going on? I'm hearing all these news about you on millions of dollars in child support, felon drug tests. What's going on? Does your wife got something to do with this? Where is Jocelyn? Where is Jocelyn? And my question was, why the fuck do you care where the fuck Jocelyn at? Cause Stevie J gonna do what the fuck Stevie J is. Stevie J don't look like the motherfucker that's gonna, you know, follow behind somebody else. He gonna do some shit because he want to. And my thing of it is, worry about yourself. And, you know, she starts telling Stevie about what's going on with Nico and how he, you know, they signed this deal and he get 25% and she wrote this book and Stevie's in the book, Ava's in the book, and she was like, Stevie was like, this motherfucker ain't finna get no money. He ain't finna eat off of you. He definitely ain't finna eat off my daughter. And I was like, oh, Stevie, what you about to do? You know, and he got up and left. Like he's finna go whoop some ass or something. I was like, okay, here's my thing. This is what it is. Do y'all notice Margot and Mimi sort of look like each other? Margot and Mimi got the same chiseled ass jawline as fucking Nico. Maybe that was the attraction. I'm just confused. I'm just trying to connect the dots. So, hey, it is what it is. So, you know, Stevie J leaves Mimi's apartment, and then they had his meetup like the last season when Stevie J and Nico met up. And basically, he was like, yo, you not finna eat off my daughter. You know, you gonna get out this contract. You gonna do this and you gonna do that. How much it's gonna take to buy you out? Nico said $2 million. He was like, yo, in the confessional. So me and Mimi made this tape, right? And it made over $2 million. And I'm like, hey, and we put this book out, it's going to make a whole bunch of millions too. So I'm like, give me $2 million. Even though I know this nigga ain't got it because all his money goes to the feds and to his child support. I said shit because I was just about to tweet that. And Nico kind of shaded him and said something that I would say. I said, okay, we kind of agree on that. We kind of agree on that. But y'all still fucked up. All this talking and talking and talking. Nigga, fuck all that. Fight. Not bum rush. Fight, okay? That's all. Every time Stevie get into a fight with somebody, especially Nico, he don't run and throw a hit. He run and bum rush and try to grab. I guess trying to catch him off guard. I don't know what that's about. But bitch, run and throw a punch, okay? And Stevie talking about how, you know, he got so much shit on Nico that, you know, his wife don't know and he gonna fuck his wife and all that stuff. And I was like, nigga. Nico said, motherfucker, I done fucked every bitch you been with before you fucked them. And I said, passing shit. But, you know, that was basically Love and Hip Hop. And then it cut off before we can actually see the real fight. This season gonna be a trip. We already prepared for it. It's Love and Hip Hop Atlanta. This is what we've been waiting for, so we can't really too much complain. But it was an okay opener. I was enthused a little bit. As you can see, I almost choked a few times. You know, it is what it is. But yeah, y'all tell me how y'all feel about it. I will be very much in tune with this season, and I will see you guys later. Peace.